In this video, I'm going to talk about part 2 of the Health Communication Campaigns project. We've already done part 1. Part 2 builds on what you've done with part 1, but adds a little bit more and takes us in a little bit different direction. But that direction is closer to part 3 and part 4. So it's really just building on what you've already done and moves you in a direction towards what we're going to be doing in upcoming modules. So with part 2, what you're going to be doing is identify and really explain some relevant health communication theory or scholarly research. So that could be theory that's talked about in our textbook. It could be theory that is included in some of the readings that we have. It could be theory maybe that you've encountered in other classes, but that applies in the health communication context. Or you could also be using health communication research. That could be research that you find from a journal article or other scholarly source, but what you're going to be doing is certainly linking in health communication theory and research articles that help to apply to your campaign that might impact your campaign. Again, keep in mind that what we're working towards is you developing a hypothetical campaign with at least 2 different health messages. What you could do with the theory or research is find theory research that helps you develop those messages or helps you develop your campaign. So let's say you found a research article that talks about developing effective health messages. That would be a great article to talk about in this part of the paper because that's going to inform how you develop your health messages. So really what you do here helps to make a better product when we get to part 3 and part 4. So what you're going to do with this part of the project is provide an overview section where you talk about, provide an overview of your campaign. That would be explaining the health issue and the target population briefly, since that's something you really did in part 1. So this is, the overview is a relatively short section which you provide a refresher of your health issue and the target population. That could be a spot where you maybe tweak things based on feedback from your instructor. The next section is where you talk about theory and research. So that's really identifying relevant theory and research and link that and explain how that informs your health campaign. So if there's a particular theory that we've talked about or a theory that you've run into that connects with your campaign, talk about that theory, explain it, cite appropriate sources for it, and then explain how that connects in with what you're going to be doing with your health campaign. What you should shoot for is at least 3 theories or research articles that somehow connect with your campaign. So 3 is what you want to shoot for. And then lastly, the last section you'd have in this paper, or this part of the overall campaign, is after you've explained those 3 theory or research articles, what I'd like you to do is kind of talk about how those are going to influence how you'll construct your overall campaign. So maybe those 3 articles, those 3 outside sources, talk about how you should construct your message, or maybe the best way of disseminating your message. What you're really going to be doing in this section is talking about how that impacts your campaign and being specific here. Maybe laying out what particular channel you're going to be using. Are you going to be hypothetically saying we should do TV advertisements, or maybe posters, or maybe some sort of social media campaign? Brainstorm some ideas of how you're going to construct your campaign and what that might look like, but in particular, how the theory or research that you've talked about help you to create your messages or impact your overall campaign. I provided details about this assignment in the assignments page for part 2 of the Health Communication Campaign project. So make sure you look at the details there, particularly the format and also what should be in this assignment. That information is available in Canvas under the assignments menu for part 2 of the Health Communication Campaign project. There's also going to be some information about this within some of our modules. So make sure you take a look at what we have available on Canvas about part 2 of this project. And as always, you can contact your instructor in case you have any questions about part 2 of the Health Communication Campaign project.